Did you find the keys? I'm feeling exposed out here.
Did you find a key? I dropped my lockpicks when those lions came after me. I don't know. Ew. What's that smell? It's coming from over here. I knew they were up to something here. Smells awful. Alchemical. This equipment isn't incriminating enough on its own, though. Vinalora could justify it for medicinal uses. We need to find evidence that can't be explained away so easily. Samples, records, a test subject. Anything that proves without a doubt that the animals here are being used for something other than conservation. There's probably more upstairs.
Let's hurry. Whatever's going on here, I don't want Lotus to be a part of it.
Whoa. These poor creatures. Let's find out what Vinalora was doing with them. Hey, what are you reading over there? You found something important, didn't you? I could read it on your face from across the room. What's in those papers? Vinalora, you piece of... This is everything I need to prove she's been abusing her position here. I have to get this to the Proxy Queen. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but he deserves to know. Let's find him and get out of here before our luck runs out. This should be all I need. Where did Talimar wander off to?
Disobedience doesn't suit you, Talimar. Uncooperative animals don't last long here.
What have you done with Lotus, you monster?
I'd be more concerned for yourself right now. Try something rash, and Talimar will sprout an arrow from the eye. You've all caused me enough trouble for one day. They're a very special beast. Revered, even, as blessed beings who are as graced by the gods as we Ultima. They are a gift to our people, Not found anywhere else in the world, and we have squandered their potential too long. Maintaining our natural primacy, what else? The mongrels of Tamriel infest everything, even our unspoiled isles now. But their overgrowth can be curbed. They only need a natural predator. The Indrix will be our immortal Adric Avengers. You're in no position to stop me. This enclosure is as strong as a fortress, and these barriers are impenetrable by even the Indric's effortless teleportation. Surrender before my... What was that? No! The wards! The Indrix will run wild! Elise, I should have known you'd be behind this!
Good luck containing your experiments. We'll give your regards to the Queen.
This isn't over, mongrel! You'll all
Talamar!
pay for this!
Vinalora must have been more shaken than she looked. She didn't hit anything vital, far as I can tell. I don't usually work on people, but if I can stitch up feuding a Chater, I can handle this. You can't be serious. There's nothing stopping Lotus from escaping on her own now. We've got what we need to bring Vinalora down. There's no reason to risk your life. He's lucky to have found someone as foolish as he is. At least take my ward breaker, in case Vinalora reactivates the cages. I'll get Talamar out of harm's way. Good luck, all right?
You can save Lotus. I believe that with every fiber of my being. Bring her back safe.
Hang on, Talamar. We'll get you out of here.
How the latest serum performs in live tests. Let's find out.
Run while you can!
Oriel! Lead me from this forsaken place!
Lotus! She's all right! Thank Zephyr! Oh, thank you!
Damn it, Talamar! You're going to reopen that wound.
It's so good to see Lotus alive and well. I couldn't stop thinking of her scared and injured, or worse. If Vinalora had turned her into some kind of monster, I swear! We should flee before Vinalora and her rangers come after us. Gods, that's terrible. I won't shed tears over Vinalora. She had to be stopped. But I'm so sorry you have her blood on your hands. I guess this is the end of the royal menagerie. With the conservator gone, there's no one in charge of trying to get this place back in order. It'll all come apart by the time the proxy queen allocates a replacement. If she allocates a replacement. Me? Run the menagerie? I'd love to see it put back the way I remember it. But will it ever be the same now that I know what was really happening here? I could just take Lotus and put all this behind us. Yes, I know myself well enough to know I would be miserable just abandoning this place. I've poured so much of my life into it. Maybe I can do some good here. Change the way these animals are treated. These animals deserve better than to be left to fend for themselves. I owe them that much. I'll do everything I can for them. You have my word. Don't suppose I could declare it a wildlife preserve and leave the animals to roam freely, could I? I'm going to have my work cut out for me getting this place back in order. I'll take Lotus and try to find other survivors who escaped the chaos. Convincing them to return won't be easy, but I'm certain I can get at least a few other keepers and rangers to follow my lead. After that, a whole lot of wrangling. She's gone, and their operation is in shambles. I don't see why they'd stick around. But I'll be sure to burn their research at the first opportunity. Nothing like that will ever happen again under my watch. Wild Indriks are aggressive towards things they perceive as threats. Even if Vinalora hadn't given them her vile serums, they couldn't have been happy about being penned up like cattle. There may be hope for them, if the legends are true. It is said that when Indrik die, their souls don't leave Mundus. Instead, Jeffra plants them back into the land to sprout again as reborn fawns. If it's true, you think they remember their old lives? I like to believe Lotus will remember me. Then I do hope they forgive us for her transgressions. I'll do my best to make it up to any others I meet. She endangered every living thing here with the stunt she pulled. It'll be days before we know the final toll of stopping Vinalora. I know Elise did this for the right reasons, but I don't know that I can forgive her for all this bloodshed. That's what makes it hard. Everything worked out for me. It's not my grudge I'm holding on to. It's theirs. All those innocent lives. She's a good person, but I'm going to need time.
I was going to recommend that the Queen shut this place down when I gave my report. But if Talamar thinks he can rebuild it into a place where the animals come first, I bet I can make the promotion stick. He was always her favorite keeper. I'll head to Alinor to present my findings to the Proxy Queen and send a letter to Queen Irene. After that, I don't know. I'm not really much use to either of them now. I guess a life of tending stables is all I'm really suited for. You think? It was you who wound up doing most of the work. But I guess I did a pretty good job of sabotaging everything. Maybe I have a new calling in breaking things. I suppose I do owe him for the mess I made. Assuming he'll even trust me around another animal, I'll consider it. One way or another, I'll get him the help he needs. Promise.
Well, someone had to kill her. Vereda didn't just up and die at the tender age of 28.
Stop squawking, you fat netch! You're just as likely the one that killed her.
I did this then? When you're the one greedier than a starving hawker?
This is going nowhere. We'll never find the treasure if we keep killing each other.
You walk in here on 3 skivers arguing over a dead body and decide you want to chat with one of them? You either got some kind of guts or you're some kind of stupid. Either way, maybe you can help. A family squabble of sorts. You see, one of these cozies went and killed Vereda. Problem is, none of us are about to go treasure hunting. There's a murderer at our back. When killing for gold, you don't stop at one. Or so I hear. Ancestor of ours, Jadil the Keelhauler, cached her loot around here. If you grab the chest for us, there's no chance for a sneak attack. The map over there will lead you right to it. And obviously, I'll pay you for the trouble. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Look at these squabbling fools. Why don't I just take the treasure myself? Tough like that. The only thing that will crack the chest open is the blood of Jadil's descendant. Thus, you'll need one of us. I'm known as Igeki Ratbite. It would serve you well to not forget that name, given that I'll one day have a legacy as epic as Jadil herself. You saw my face, right? I got bit by a rat. It was a big rat. Don't worry, it's dead now. She was an explorer, sailed from Atmora all the way to Yakura, despite half her crew falling mad along the way. She discovered new lands, new cultures. Shame so few hear of her. Her greatest adventure was raiding the palace of King Ognum himself. Right you are. Fled Piandanea after, quick as a flash. Passed the whole Merrimore fleet came after her. Eventually, they chased her right to this cove. She fled to the shore, clutching a single chest of treasure. Buried it before making her way back home. The blood of my blood willingly given. That's how the enchantment goes. You see, Jadil wanted to settle down, have a few brats of her own. So, the story was passed along, waiting for a descendant adventurous enough to set sail.
So, you've decided to join our little escapade. Well, I'd watch my back if I were you. Never know when a dagger will end up in it. But have no fear. I'm certain I'll crack this little mystery wide open. I am called Drokagir, after my father. He was a man of girth, you see. Mother required some way to separate us, and so the epithet Lesser was given to me. Of course, you'll find most to be a lesser man than Drokagir the Lesser, especially when it comes to acting. Yes, most ardently so. I've graced many of Skyrim's stages. Once I've obtained my wealth, I'll visit the House of Reveries. I suspect they'll demand I join them once they've caught wind of my talent. Oh, poor Verada. I hardly knew thee, cousin, and now I never shall. One of these rapscallions killed her as she slumbered, oblivious to such a betrayal, strangled her most likely, the brutes, all to get a greater share of the treasure. All of us have grown up on tales of Jadil the Keelhauler and her Somerset treasure. The way Auntie Brinkella tells it, whoever opens the chest will have enough wealth to last them a lifetime. Of course, I was happy with a quarter share. It has to be one of them, doesn't it? As soon as you bring us the treasure, we'll be on our separate ways. Until then, I'll make sure no one moves from this spot. Wouldn't want another tragedy to occur.
Seems Igeki roped you in on this little adventure too. Just great. You know, I always wanted siblings growing up. But if this is what my cousins turned out to be like, glad I was spared the experience. They call me Soberstorn. And yes, I realize that is an odd name for a Nord. Make no mistake, I still enjoy a strong brew. There was another storm in my village. Stone drunk at all hours of the day. He once fell in a mead tank and had to drink his way out. Practically a village hero after that. I was just sober in comparison. Distant cousins. I didn't even realize I was related to these skeevers before Igeki found us. She had the family records, you see. It was her that brought us all together. Ratface needed all of us, though, if she wanted Jadil's treasure. Drock had a boat. Vereda had the funds, and I inherited Jadil's map. So we all worked together, as long as was convenient. Of course, the only one I trust not to betray me at this point is Vereda. And that's only because she's dead. I don't mean to find out. The quicker you find that treasure, the quicker I can make my way back home. Hopefully without a knife ending up between my ribs.
Please, be careful where you step. The plants I've cordoned off here are both rare and fragile.
So, were you able to find Jadil's treasure? Huh. I always imagined it a tad bigger. Well, if it's stuffed with diamonds, I guess it doesn't much matter what size the box is. Thanks for grabbing it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to crack this beauty open. So, now, let's see what we're working with here.
Can't you bleed any faster, Igeki?
Indeed, my being roils with anticipation.
What the? There's just a scroll in here! I sailed across many seas and raided many ships, but the most precious treasure is family. May you see the wisdom in these words.
What? I came all this way for nothing? I can't believe I poisoned Vereda for a stupid scroll!
Hold a moment. You killed Vereda? But I was the one who strangled her right after she fell asleep.
Neither of you are making any sense! I stabbed her! Right after we doused the fire!
Wait, did we all kill Vereda to get a bigger share of the treasure?
Ha! I suppose betrayal runs in the family. To think that Jadil planned for this outcome from the very start! Who knew the old girl had such a flair for the dramatic? I wonder if she ever thought of joining the theater. Next, why, I think I'll hop over to Relenthiel, show my talents off, see what happens. Honestly, the performance of this whole affair has put me in a mood for some drama. To think that all three of us were the murderer the whole time. The mystery of Vereda's death, the tension between us all, and then the grand reveal that there was no treasure to begin with. The whole story drips with dramatic irony. I could become a playwright with such a tale. Not a bad idea.
I can't believe I ever looked up to this loony crone. To think she would trick us all just for some stupid moral lesson. I just hope such lunacy doesn't run in the family. An explorer? No. I wanted to be a filthy rich pirate captain. I was going to use the treasure to put together a ship and crew. But thanks to Jadil and her bleeding heart, I suppose that's not going to happen. A life of scrubbing decks and taking orders, no thanks. You know, killing Vereda was pretty easy. Maybe I'll join the Dark Brotherhood. I just have to catch their attention, right? Yeah, I think I could do that.
I suppose that's why Jadil gave up a life of piracy. She decided a loving family was more important than riches or treasure. What an idiot. I doubt it. Jadil probably did this to bring her descendants closer. Companionship through the hardship of exploration or some such nonsense. To think I went and killed Vereda, all for nothing. I regret going through the trouble. It's easy to feel sympathy for a corpse, but trust me, if you had known Vereda, you would understand. It's no coincidence that all three of us decided to go after her, and only her.
What kind of monster arranges acacias and begonias in the same beds? If you've come to bask in the splendor of my latest outdoor arrangement, you're too late. They're ruined, cast into unsightly disarray by a barbaric Vandal. Just go home and spare yourself the disappointment. My garden, my art, has been violated, desecrated by some vulgar wood elf who thinks being raised in the wild gives him the right to pervert my designs. Now he's threatening my life. Can you believe it? Not just a garden, the very art of gardening. Eslian is waging a war on Altmer horticulture. I represent everything he despises, so he's targeting my work. He's gone too far this time, planting stranglers to ward me away. They could kill someone. Stranglers are a stubborn breed. Hacking them up would only be a temporary solution. What I need is proof that the wood elf is responsible, so he can't do any more damage. Perhaps Eslian left something at my gardens that could be incriminating? Weeks ago, Eslian came here to convince me that wilderness should be allowed to grow unchecked and untamed, as in Greenshade. Obviously, I found his argument lacking. It wasn't long after that the tampering began. Of course, but they are of little help. Can't spare time for criminal mischief. It seems sullying our pristine lands doesn't count among the worst things all these Nebara are up to. It's obvious who the culprit is, but I lack proof, so he runs free. The wood elf's tampering is sloppy, careless, maybe even thoughtless. I'm sure he's left traces of his work. A discarded trowel, foreign seeds, his own dung, or whatever a wood elf uses to fertilize soil. It'd be trivial if not for the stranglers. I am the foremost authority of the Altmer botanical arts. My vision has literally shaped the lay of the land from Alinor to Sunhold, and my best arrangements grace the royal palace. If you take issue with our methods, you take issue with me. Occasionally, there are always up-and-comers looking to stir up controversy or make their mark, but no one who desired any respect in the field would stoop to sabotage or assault. He called our wilderness sterile and artificial. Nature is unruly and chaotic, but he's rather missing the point. Orderly cultivated gardens are a refinement of the raw. A plant lacks the intelligence to reach its true potential. It must be guided. Those monstrosities aren't native to any isle of Somerset, and they couldn't have crossed the seas naturally. Even if they could, the stranglers would be more widespread. They were brought here and planted deliberately among my arrangements.
sorry. It's safe over this way. Follow me. I don't think anything untoward's taken root here. Let's, have a chat, shall we? Hope those stranglers didn't hurt you. They're ornery buggers. Nearly ate my fool cousin one time, but he was so drunk that... no, never mind, not the time. As you can see, there's a bit of an infestation. Real mess. Has me a bit at a loss. Oh, have we met? Sorry, I don't remember. Never been good with names, or faces, or most details, really. Mom used to say my head would drift straight into the clouds if not for the canopy. Were you looking for me? Me? No. Well, yes, but not intentionally. You see, my brother's a bit of a prankster, and strangler seeds look a lot like white acacia. The short of it is, I did plant them. I just didn't know they were stranglers, and now I'm trying to get rid of them. Killing them's not the hard part. I'll brew a poison that'll choke the roots until they're brown in the fronds. Trouble is, can't think of a way to use it without breaking the Green Pact. It's a real moral quandary. Oh, yeah, that'd do. Whew, that's a load off my shoulders. Dribble a bit of this in the water sources around here and the stranglers should die off in a few weeks. Just the stranglers, though, promise. I should go apologise to Vinifwe for this. Oh, vandalise? Me? I'm not the one herding plants in a cramped little rows. Lashing vines to stakes, amputating the branches of perfectly healthy trees to warp them to some unnatural ideal. I was just showing her what natural beauty looks like. Well, the moment I spoke to her, I could tell she'd never seen untamed wilds. Her entire concept of nature is perverse, if I'm blunt. I thought if I could breathe some life into those sterile gardens, she might finally see what she's missing. Well, I'm sure this little misunderstanding with the stranglers didn't help my case, but that's a bit much. I should clear things up with Vinifwe before this situation gets any more out of control. All the stories I've heard about Somerset described it as a paradise. Pristine, idyllic, beautiful. The moment I heard the High Elves were opening the Isles to visitors, I knew I had to see them. Now that I'm here, it just feels fake. You know, artificial. Like everything is an imitation. It's like nothing can be its true self. Everything, down to the last blade of grass, has to be manicured. Forced to be something it's not. It's not beautiful. It's tyranny. But it's the wilderness. Birds make their nests and Bosmer grow their homes. But beyond those borders, it's Ifra's domain. I don't expect everyone to abide the Green Pact, but enslaving the land like this just feels wrong. Sort of a vow, a promise to the Green, that we'd protect it from harm and in return it would be our own. Now, I know we're not in Valenwood, but those seeds are of the Green, and the idea of harming them makes me sick to the core. Better believe it. Any Bosmer who so much as plucks a petal from the Green is doomed to the ooze. Song left unsung forever after. Like you never were. Even if you don't think much of yourself, there's something to fear in that. For you, sure, it's not your pact. For me, I'm hoping so. I'm supposed to protect the Green, but we're a long ways from there. Ifra, forgive me if I'm wrong. told you, this is all just a misunderstanding. Oh, friend, a little help? Hi again. In a bit of a bind, as you can see. I tried to apologize, I really did, but she's telling the prosecution I've been terrorizing her. I could use some good news. How'd you fare with those stranglers? Oh, thank Ifra for that. It'll take some time for them to die off, but they'll be too sick to hurt anyone soon. Could you explain that to the good officers of the law here? How this was all an unfortunate accident and I helped make it right? I did meddle a bit, but I didn't mean any harm by it. Surely tossing me in jail's blowing the whole thing out of proportion, right? Promise I'll never do it again. I'll even transplant my addition someplace where they'll be appreciated. Oh, you're a regular saint. I knew the minute I met you that we'd be peas in a pod. You can count on me to do right by Vinifwe. Still don't agree with her, but I'll think of a better way to make my point once this is all blown over.
You must be the concerned bystander I'm hearing so much about. Both Vinifwe and Esleon claim you can prove their case, which begs all sorts of questions. But I don't have time for that, so let's cut to the heart of the matter. Is Esleon guilty? Given that your testimony is the only real evidence I have, I see no reason to continue dragging out this affair. Esleon will be fined for trespassing and criminal mischief, then released. If I see him here again, he will be jailed. You must be the... Given that you're... Free the prisoner.
Sorry, really. Truly sorry I am. Won't happen again, officer.
You aren't seriously taking his side in this? A slap on the wrist. It'll take months, if not years, to restore my work to its original condition. You've done me and Somerset a great disservice today.
So much to do. We consider this matter resolved. You may go as you please.
You there! Come! I need assistance. Newcomer, I have been on my feet for nearly an hour, and I have just about had enough of it. Be so kind as to retrieve my absentee husband and my dear Eustasia, so I might be finished with this so-called leisure stroll. Of course they're missing. My fool husband let our prized hound off her leash to frolic along the beach. Poor Eustasia didn't know what to make of her freedom, and went charging off after a hare. Durell took off in pursuit, and I've seen neither since. Into the wilderness, off toward that old way shrine. How far could they have really gone? I would give anything to have my precious Eustasia safely in my arms again. Find her for me, and I will make it worth your while. I should be reclining on my lounge with a quarter-millennium-aged port and Eustasia nestled in my bosom. But no, Durell insisted we take a stroll along the beach. Go traipsing off into the woods? What do you take me for? That's better left to people accustomed to such conditions. I am precisely as concerned as I need to be, but I don't see how that's any of your business. If Durell hadn't put me in this very awkward position, I wouldn't need to be concerned at all. A prized waxing terrier. It took 16 generations of careful selection to produce a breed distinct from the common Glenumbran terrier. The region is known for its impurities. I took it as a challenge. Merely a hobby, but one I excel at. My darlings have taken best in show at every show in Somerset. I have even been awarded a commendation for excellence in breeding by the Sapiarchs.